AI, I think in the broadest sense of, if we look at like the current way in which humanity is viewing AI, I think 90% of people are saying they're coming for our jobs. We're going to be replaced. Like, this is bad. It's interesting. It's cool. It's crazy. But that there's some amount of fear wrapped up in AI and technology replacing humans. So, one of the things that you kind of touched on is the impact, at least with Serhant, and also your opinion around technology, is the differentiator is that human element, that customer experience, that customer support, that human connection. So, I also know that you're a fan of AI. So where does that kind of come into play of AI is this tool that we now have, right? This new paradigm of AI, and it is going to be integrated in some aspect into most of technology moving forward. But then you're balancing that with, you run a large team, right? You have technology supporting hundreds of agents. I don't know how big you guys are, but I assume hundreds. And you also are not trying to replace them. You're trying to support and enhance them. So what is the role of AI in an established company like Serhant?
Is that everybody can focus on highest and best use. That's the most succinct way I can put it. The world's most gifted artist, if they're spending time cleaning their paintbrushes instead of painting, that's a waste. I view it the same exact way. Every time a salesperson is sitting at a computer spending hours on admin time instead of deepening their client relationships, which, don't get it twisted, like, just speaking about the salespeople for a second, they get off on their personalized relationships with their clients. In fact, their actual personal relationships are usually unhealthy because they're spending so many hours a day as part of being a salesperson, that some of the fulfillment comes from how deep those relationships get. Like,
And that
my
relentless
funeral is going to be,
obsession aspect that you talked
yeah,
about. Yeah.
my funeral is going to be fucking packed with the relationships that I've formed in business, where people feel like I really poured into their well-being. And part of me takes that as a trade-off for the time I haven't spent with my kids and my wife, as a purposeful life well lived, and I do my best to balance it. A lot of people aren't willing to say that out loud, but I think that a lot of salespeople, it's like the thrill of the chase. It's like, what's the
Yeah.
next white whale? They're Ahab out there just ready to harpoon whatever person says they need a house. Or, we have an education division where there's a piano salesperson who's a pro member who gets pro coaching for selling luxury pianos. It's wild stuff. So what can AI do? It can make sure that they're focusing on that. It can make sure that our amazing, world-class, talented staff is not drowning, is not begging for more people to just dump those things on that their plates are overfilled with. It's that we're finding efficiencies and finding ways for them to be at their highest and best use. We have some of the most creative people in the world, that it used to break my heart when I would speak to our creative director and I would say, "Hey, what are you up to?" And they'd say, "Oh, I'm doing this. It's taking me hours." And I'd be like, "I would have loved to just snap my fingers and automate that for you, so you could be doing what you want to do, which is create, which is be creative." And sometimes, like, why do artists go to museums? It's to feel inspired and to feel connected to what they're passionate about. AI is doing the same thing for a lot of people. Is it plays a role because 50% of people would prefer to edit an existing document than create one from scratch. You know, there's two kinds of people in the world: people who separate people into two groups and ones who don't. I'm just kidding. But there's a role for it to play in efficiency, inspiration, and highest and best use. I wonder what humanity would be capable of if we focused more on our commonalities and less on our differences, supported technologies that can solve really, really complicated socioeconomic, sociological, psychological, climatological, everything, and actually we're focused on the betterment of. It's why I like Star Trek, man. It's all focused on exploration, discovery, and the betterment of humanity. That's what I look forward to with AI. How can we
Human
get
alignment.
better at how much humans currently suck, and how much being at work sucks for a lot of. I love my job. I also know there's a lot of people out there in the world who do not love their job.